What up, Gripsters, random YouTubers, and PokerStars viewers? I know you guys who are watching the Sunday Million Final Table this Sunday may have come by to check out this video. So, welcome to the Grips Poker Training channel. I apologize for the lighting on this video, but you guys are here for the information, not for the video production quality. So, fuck it. I don't think you're going to care too much because I got some really good stuff coming your way, so stay posted. So, quick update. I arrived in Melbourne a few days ago, so we are one step closer to shipping the Aussie Millions. I've been getting comfortable. The weather here is fantastic. It's a beautiful place. The people are super friendly. Food is delicious. MTT schedule is it's different, and it reminds me of possibly the best benefit of playing poker. And that is the freedom and the ability to travel. Now, this is the power of having a unique skill that doesn't require you to stay in a fixed location. So don't feel like poker is the only way that you can experience, the beauties that the world has to offer. If you find any skill that is marketable and how it can enable you to make money that allows you to remain mobile, then do it. Do it. Perfect that skill, because that's going to allow you to enjoy everything that's out there. And there's a lot of cool stuff. Anyway, we have some big news. We got some big fucking news. Team Grips member Charlie, also known as Epiphany77, has done the undoable and chopped the Sunday Million for over $200,000. Crazy. It's actually the second time in 4 weeks that a Team Grips member has taken top prize in the Million. On Christmas Eve, Jaron shipped it for like $300K. And I do have the hand histories and will be posting them on the channel later this month. Fun fact about Charlie, he's only been playing poker for 10 months and started with a $10 deposit. So if you are a free roll player or a new player who is watching this video and thinking, man, I'd really like to win the Sunday Million, if you put in the hard work in a surprisingly short amount of time, it is possible. Anyway, I've been getting a lot of questions related to tilt, so I wanted to discuss my thoughts on that. It won't be an official Project Get Me Stacking because I don't have my PowerPoint on my laptop, but I still have plenty of good information to share. So, I'm going to outline an approach you can carry with you when trying to solve any sort of problem. So, when dealing with a problem, the first thing we do is define the problem. Define what it is. So, what is tilt? Feel free to put in the comments what you think it is. My thinking on tilt is whenever you act irrationally or in a way that isn't in line with what you believe is the correct play. Very simple. In your brain, in your processing, you know what the correct play is, but subconsciously you don't. You act in a way that is more based on instinct or impulse rather than rational thinking. So tilt comes in many forms. There are many causes of it, and if you're interested in learning about the different forms of tilt, I recommend Jared Tendler's book, The Mental Game of Poker. He goes into some really good depth on the different types of tilt, so I don't think I need to go over it in this video. It's a great book for any aspiring poker player or current poker player to buy anyway. It's really beneficial. So, step 1 was define the problem. Step 2 is identify the source of that problem. So, in my opinion, the main source of tilt is a buildup of tension caused by emotional responses to stimulus, i.e. situations, hands, and you get really tense and really tight on the inside, like this, right? And then your blow up, when you do something stupid, is a way of releasing all that tension so that your body can relax again. Now, it's not a very helpful way, it's not a good way to release tension, but that is what's going on. You have this huge buildup, and your body is like, dude, I don't want to deal with this, I'm done with this, get me out of here, I'm over it. Pfft. Done. Blow up. Tilt. Situation resolved. You don't feel uncomfortable anymore, but you feel really shitty. Probably because you're like, man, that was really stupid. Why did I do that? Now you know. So, we know what the problem is. We know what the source of the problem is. This buildup of tension. So, let's talk about what causes this tension so that you can figure out, how to prevent it from happening. I've got 5 things that cause this tension. It's not a completely exhaustive list, but I don't want this video to be like 45 minutes long, so I'll just be quick with them. So, number 1 is being in an uncomfortable situation. Anytime that you are in a situation you don't like, you're going to feel discomfort. You're not going to like it. You're not going to be at ease. So this can be if you're playing higher stakes than you're used to, if you're playing for an amount of money that is very significant for you and it's going to hurt you if you lose it, or if you're just dealing with a player who is constantly putting you in tough spots that you're not used to being in. They are putting you in an uncomfortable situation, which is going to cause you to tense up. Okay, number 2, not being content with where you're at, which is most often caused by comparing yourself to other people. If you are looking at the high stakes games all the time, or the people who are playing on EPT final tables and being like, man, why can't I be as good as them? Well, think about how long they've been playing to get there and how much work they had to do to get in there, and it'll make sense. But if you're constantly comparing yourself to them, being like, man, they're awesome and I'm just like not as good as them, you're going to feel very uncontent with where you're at, and again, you're going to start to tense up because you feel uncomfortable that that person's so great and why aren't you that great? It's just because you haven't put in the time yet. Number 3, thinking about a different time other than the present. If you are just in the zone, you're just thinking, you're making your decisions as they come, you're going to be in a good space. You're just going to be processing information, taking it in and acting, taking in information and acting, which is what you're supposed to do. Now, if you're busy thinking about the past, you're going to build up some depression, which will cause tension. If you are thinking about the future, you are going to be creating anxiety, which is also going to create tension. So, what are some examples of doing this? Well, if you take a bad beat and think about how many chips you had or what position you could be in if you'd won that hand, you're dealing with the past, and you're going to create tension. If you're looking at the leaderboard, we call it scoreboard watching, being like, man, that'd be sweet if I took this down, if I won that tournament, think of all the awesome things I could do with that money if I won it. You're busy caught up in the future, and now you're creating some anxiety because, well, what happens if you don't actually win the tournament and you don't get what you were fantasizing about? So come back to the present, you won't have that tension build up. Number 4, feeling like you're not using your time smartly. This is a big one for poker players, which involves like thinking you could be out there doing something else instead of playing. Typically, one thing that will cause this is other people being like, I don't think you should play cards. So anytime you lose money on a session, you're like, oh, maybe they were right. I should have done something better with my time. Don't listen to other people. If you want to do it, do it. But when you're doing it, be happy you're doing it and realize that every time you play poker, you are making an investment in your development as a player, win or lose. Don't think about playing as winning or losing. Think about playing as winning or learning. So even when things don't go your way, that's your opportunity to learn from a lesson there. Okay, and number 5 is being results oriented rather than process oriented. This is when you're someone who just wants the money. You don't actually care about making good decisions. You're using the gambler's brain, is what I like to call it. So in this case, you're trying to focus on something that is beyond your control, which is a very uncomfortable thing, rather than worrying about the things that you do have control over. So, again, that's going to cause tension because you're dealing with something that's completely out of your control. How could you feel comfortable when everything that matters is up to fate? Okay, so this list can go on, and I think in the future, as I continue to make more videos, this list will go on. But I want to keep it digestible, and we'll just start with 5 things. I don't want to overwhelm you and you be like, oh man, I have like 20 different sources of tilt. How the hell am I going to deal with any of them? So, as you can see, all of the things I mentioned cause feelings of uneasiness. And that blow up, like I said before, is a way for you to take yourself out of the uncomfortable situation, to remove yourself from the situation that is causing you discomfort so that you are no longer exposed to these uncomfortable feelings. As humans, we don't like to feel bad. We want to feel positive emotions. So, it makes sense that subconsciously, when we are exposing ourselves to uncomfortable stimulus, uncomfortable situations, things that make us feel bad, that subconsciously our mind or our system is going to attempt to remove us from that situation and distance us from that discomfort-causing thing. Even if financially it doesn't make sense. So this is why, even though your rational brain is like, I would never do that, that's not a good play, you did it because your like instinctual system, kind of your caveman system, overrode and is like, no, we're out of here, we're not dealing with this, boom, we're done. And that brain, forget the name of it, but like the primal brain can definitely override the rational one. It's very powerful. So, now that we have defined the problem, identified the sources of the problem, and broke that down a little bit more, now we have to figure out a solution to the problem. And usually when people are like, man, how do I deal with my tilt? I just want to stop tilting. What they're asking for is the Band-Aid solution. It is a quick fix that will, like a Band-Aid, cover up the problem. Boom. No tilt anymore. Can't see it. But the tilt still exists. What causes the tilt is still there. You're just kind of blocking it out so temporarily it doesn't affect you as much, but it will build up. So, the Band-Aid solution is very simple. It is deep breathing. And deep breathing means really deep, taking your time. So an example is, do it with me, okay? Take 3 seconds to breathe in and 3 seconds to breathe out. So, and try to think about breathing as deep as you can, like all the way down to your gut. So, and out. And you can do that a few more times. Just and you will find that if you do that 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, suddenly all that tension that's been building up, it's gonna relax a little bit. It's not gonna bother you as much. So that is the quick fix solution. When you feel like a lot of tension is building up and you feel that blow up might be coming and you feel like you might be going on tilt, just take a second and take some deep breaths. It's so fucking simple, but it works. So try it and let me know if it benefits you. Now, you won't always be able to do this in the moment, but if you're facing a tough decision and you're already feeling really tense and you have that time band, before you act, before you make your decision, just take some time to do a couple of deep breaths and just chill out and be like, okay, I can do this. And always tell yourself you can handle the situation. If you think that the situation is one that you're not going to be able to handle, you are going to find a way to sabotage yourself and ensure that you don't handle the situation. Okay. So, Now you know how to control tilt. But if you want to completely eliminate it, you have to deal with the root of the problem, which is those causes of the tension. And to do that, you're going to have to take a long, hard look at the causes, which ones affect you, and the way you think about them. Brain thinking. Only by changing your thought process, your outlook on these things, can you truly eliminate tilt. So if you just do the Band-Aid solution, you will be able to control it, but you'll still constantly find yourself building up that tension, feeling tight and feeling like a blow-up's coming, rather than just being able to be chill and relax and at peace all the time. So even when shit happens, you're like, oh, well, it was something I couldn't control, so I'm not going to be bothered by it. And it just, shit just washes right off you, and you'll be at peace and at ease all the time. So, let's make something happen. Ask yourself, which of the 5 causes of tilt mentioned do you experience? And please mention it in the comments. Don't be embarrassed. Everyone's going to do it. You're going to see a huge list. You're just in there with everyone else. You're part of the team. This will draw awareness and give you some power over the problem, because now you know what's causing you to do this, and you're like, okay, that's what's going on. That's what I need to deal with. And now your brain will be like, okay, I'm going to try to avoid things that cause that. Now you got your subconscious working for you rather than against you. So do that. Post it in the comments. And if you have a different cause of tilt that I didn't mention, that wasn't in my list of 5, please post that in the comments as well, because it's going to be equally empowering, and other people may benefit by being like, yeah, I suffer from that too. Yeah, that's totally a cause of my tilt. So it'll help you realize you're not alone in having this problem. Dude, everybody tilts, and very few people learn to actually totally overcome it. So if you made it this far in the video, you have the lucky opportunity to be one of those people who does. Over the next few weeks, I'll try to go into a bit more detail on the techniques to eliminate these causes for good, but that will require fresh videos. So I'll try to take the causes of tension on the list and do like a 5 or 10 minute video on each one. So if you guys come up with more causes of tilt, that's more videos that I can make for you guys and try to help you solve your problems so that you can feel better and make more money. Now, if you're new, if you're one of those people who happen to be watching the Sunday Million and be like, oh, Grips.com taught Epiphany how to get stacking, I want to get stacking. Well, do yourself a favor and subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be notified anytime a new video is released right away. You'll thank yourself later. Promise. And don't forget to like the video for good karma. I appreciate it, and if you do that little thing for me, good things will come to you. Now, I'm going to go out and enjoy the weather because Melbourne is a beautiful place. And I have one last thing to tell you guys. 2014 is our year. All right? 2014 is our year, and don't you forget it. Now take what you learned, go out there, and get stacking. This has been Evan for Grips.com. Saying